Shavua Tov, a good tvach. A little bit late, but this is an amazing story with the previous Rebbe, connected with Shvat. When the previous Rebbe was forced to leave Russia, he spent some time in Warsaw, Poland, which is when this story took place. There was a woman who came from a Chabad background who was married to a nice man who had no Hasidic background. And he managed to get himself into a very big problem with the Russian government. There was a pending court case that was so bad, no lawyer would even listen to him. They were sure he was going to lose and have a terrible punishment. His wife kept insisting that he travel to Warsaw to go to the Rebbe, and he said, what Rebbe, who Rebbe, why Rebbe? Next thing you know, he's on a train to Warsaw, and he meets the Rebbe. And he tells him the whole problem, the case, the accusation, the problem, the seriousness of the situation. And after hearing him out, the Rebbe said to him, there's a dentist in Vilna, and he gave him the name, and you should go see him. And with that, the audience was finished. This man walks out, and he's convinced that Rebbes and his wife and all these people make no sense. What is a dentist in Vilna possibly going to help him? So he comes back home, and he complains to his wife about the wasted time and money. And the next thing you know, he's on a train to Vilna, to the dentist. He comes to the dentist, and the dentist wants to know which tooth is bothering him, and he says, no teeth are bothering me, but the previous Rebbe said I should come to you for help. How can I help you? And he tells him the whole story, the court case, the accusation, his defense, everything. And after he finishes, the dentist says, come back tomorrow at 2 o'clock, I'll see what I can do. So he leaves, goes back to his hotel. He's very confused. How could the dentist possibly help him with a trial due to take place in Russia? But he doesn't have any choices. The next day he shows up at 2 o'clock. The dentist puts him into a room and says, stay here, and when I'm ready, I will call you. A few minutes later, a patient enters the next door room. The dentist begins to take care of the patient, and they start talking. And this guy hears how the dentist is repeating everything that he told him about the accusation and the court case and the story, and he's burning up inside. How dare the dentist share his details and his story with a stranger? Can't do much about it. After a while, the dentist comes in and says, come here. And he goes into the next room, where there's a patient sitting on the dentist chair, and the patient is a very, official-looking kind of person. And the dentist says, tell this guy your story the same way you told it to me. And he begins telling the story to this guy on the seat, the patient. He begins telling him the whole story, the details, and why he's innocent, and how he can prove it. And he talks and talks and talks, and finally the man says, hold on a second. When is your court case scheduled for? So he tells him in St. Petersburg on this and this day. The man opens up a little book, and he says, on that day, I am scheduled to be the judge in that courtroom. So if you will come, and we will pretend we don't know each other, and you come with the proof, all that you're telling me, bring the papers and the documents to prove your claim, with God's help, everything will be all right. To make a long story short, that's exactly what happened. He showed up in St. Petersburg. That judge, that patient, was the judge. He presented his case. The judge ruled in his favor. Listen to the Rebbe's advice. It'll always work out good for you. Have a great week.